Heartland Season 20 Episode 1. One quiet moment changes everything. And the ranch may never be safe again. On quiet moment. One unexpected decision. And suddenly everything Heartland has stood for over the last 2 decades is at risk. Fans think they know what's coming in Season 20. But Episode 1 may prove that no one is truly ready for what's about to unfold. For 20 seasons, Heartland has been a place of comfort, a world where healing feels possible, where family bonds usually find their way back, and where even the hardest moments are softened by hope, love, and the land itself. But Season 20, Episode 1 isn't built on comfort. It's built on tension, a quiet tension, the kind that sits in the background and slowly tightens, until you realize you've been holding your breath the entire time. The premiere opens in familiar silence, but that silence feels different. Now the episode opens with Heartland standing as it always has, the ranch, the barns, the familiar paths across the land. On the surface, everything looks normal, but it doesn't feel normal. There's a subtle shift in the atmosphere, like the ranch itself is waiting for something bad to happen. The calm feels thinner, the air feels heavier, the silence lingers longer than it should, and the characters seem like they're trying to act normal while carrying emotions they can't name out loud. Heartland has always been a place where problems eventually turn into healing, but this premiere feels like it's asking a new question. What happens when healing doesn't come fast enough? There are no huge dramatic explosions in the opening, no loud music, no instant heartbreak. Instead, the shock comes from something much more powerful, the feeling that something is wrong, and everyone knows it. The ranch looks the same, the people look the same, but the emotional foundation underneath everything feels fragile, like it's been cracked and patched too many times. The characters are together, but emotionally, they're miles apart. This premiere is quietly brutal because of how realistic it feels. Everyone is still standing side by side, still living in the same place, still doing the same routines. But emotionally, something has shifted. There's distance now. Not because of hatred or betrayal, but because of pain that hasn't been processed. Some characters are carrying guilt. Others are carrying fear. Others are carrying quiet doubt, wondering if the things they've always believed in are still true. And you see it in the smallest moments. Conversations that end too quickly, smiles that don't fully reach the eyes, pauses before someone answers, silence after a question that should be simple, people walking away instead of speaking. These details tell the real story. Because Heartland is not just about what people say. It's about what they hold back. Season 20 doesn't pretend the past is over. It lets the weight sit. What makes Episode 1 so powerful is how it refuses to reset everything quickly. The last season didn't end neatly, and this premiere doesn't rush to fix it. Instead, it lets the tension sit in the room like an extra character. The show makes it clear, old wounds are still open. Some choices from the past season are still echoing. Some sacrifices may have been necessary, but they weren't painless, and now the emotional cost is catching up. This is the kind of episode where the problem isn't a villain. The problem is time. Because time moves forward, whether you're ready or not. The biggest threat might not be outside the ranch. It might be inside the familiar one. Of the most unsettling things about this premiere is the realization that Heartland's greatest challenge may not be external anymore. It might not be a bad season, an accident, or a surprise crisis. It might be the slow cracking of the relationships that hold everything together. For years, Heartland has survived because the family stayed connected even when they were broken. But Season 20, Episode 1 hints at something different. What if love isn't enough this time? What if caring about someone doesn't mean you understand them? What if people begin wanting different futures and those futures can't exist in the same place? The episode quietly explores this through emotional tension instead of drama. People hesitate before speaking. They choose safer words. They avoid deeper truths because honesty feels dangerous now. The premiere shows us moments where one conversation could fix everything, but no one takes the risk because everyone is afraid. Afraid of hurting someone, afraid of changing everything, afraid that once the truth is spoken, the ranch won't feel like home anymore. Even Heartland itself feels vulnerable, like the ranch is no longer untouchable. There's another major shift in the premiere that longtime fans will feel instantly. For the first time in a long time, the ranch itself doesn't feel guaranteed. Heartland has always been a symbol of stability. The land is more than land, it's history, identity, legacy. It represents everything that's been built over generations. But this episode quietly suggests something terrifying. What if even Heartland can't stay the same? Small moments hint at uncertainty. Characters lingering near the ranch like they're memorizing it, quiet conversations that sound like they're preparing for change. Financial or responsibility pressures hinted at in subtle ways, pauses that feel like someone is thinking about leaving, glances that feel like goodbye. Even when no one says it, nothing is confirmed, but the signs are there. In the way the episode frames the ranch makes it feel fragile, like something could happen that forces everyone to rethink what they've taken for granted. The episode plants the idea of a crossroads, and someone may be about to choose a different life. As the premiere moves forward, the story begins to shift from what is happening now to what is about to happen. This section of the episode is unsettling because it doesn't show a big event. It shows the moments before a big event. Every look, every pause, every half-finished sentence feels like it could lead to a turning point, and the premiere strongly hints that one decision, just one, could trigger a chain reaction that affects everyone at Heartland. The show also plays with expectations. For years, fans trusted that Heartland would always find balance, but episode 1 challenges that belief without saying it directly. It quietly suggests the rules are changing, that what once felt safe now feels uncertain, that the comfort of tradition may start clashing with the need to move forward. This is where Heartland becomes something deeper, not a story about healing, but a story about what happens when healing isn't enough to stop change. The legacy becomes the real conflict, not just love or familia. As the episode builds toward its final stretch, the themes become clearer. Season 20 is going to be about legacy, not just legacy in a sentimental way, but legacy as a burden. As pressure. As responsibility that doesn't always feel fair. Heartland has always been about what gets passed down: the ranch, the values, the sacrifices, the hope. But episode 1 asks a painful question. What if the people carrying that legacy aren't aligned anymore? What if one person wants to fight for Heartland, but another feels like it's time to let go? That question hangs over the entire episode, making even quiet moments feel huge. This is also why the premiere feels like a reset, not in the sense that everything starts over, but in the sense that everything is being tested. The show is quietly dismantling the safety fans rely on, preparing them for a season that might not end with everyone in the same place anymore. The aftershock. The episode ends, but the feeling doesn't even after episode 1 ends. Its impact doesn't fade. The episode doesn't wrap things up neatly, and that's exactly why it works. It leaves the audience with a lingering emotional aftershock, a quiet moment where you realize Heartland has crossed an invisible line. This isn't the same Heartland story anymore. It's still emotional. Still warm, still human, but the comfort comes with uncertainty now. Long time fans will feel that shift deeply, because this show isn't just entertainment, it's history. People grew up with these characters, watched them change, watched them survive, watched them heal. And season 20, episode 1 reminds viewers of something emotional and real. Time moves forward for everyone, even for Heartland. Nothing stays the same forever, no matter how much we want it to. Why season 20 episode 1 changes everything. The true power of this premiere isn't shock. It's the realization that Heartland is evolving, that comfort may no longer come easily, that growth might bring loss. And that the choices people make now may reshape the ranch, the family, and the future forever. Heartland season 20, episode 1 doesn't ask fans to simply watch. It asks them to feel. To reflect, and to prepare for what may be the most emotional journey Heartland has ever taken, because the storm isn't here yet, but the episode makes one thing painfully clear: it's coming.